What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the second album by rapper Devin the Dude. Basically, this product is called Just Trying to Live, and it came out in the summer of 2002. So the thing about this particular product is I kind of saw Devin the Dude back in the day as like a wingman of Scarface as far as that particular pitch kind of happened with it. He was definitely around. He's probably around as far back as like 93, 94, 95, somewhere in there. I want to say there might have been something from like the Odd Squads and pitches like that. I don't really full blown remember like the true, I don't know, every last detail like his come up as far as pitches like that kind of happened. But I do definitely remember this album. I remember Devin the Dude being on Dr. Dre's 2001, which is a pretty good pitch, and he was on some Scarface hits. He did a real excellent hook for the song Fuck Faces off of Scarface's My Homies from 1998. Some of those type pitches he was on. Some of like the late 90s kind of Scarface albums, pitches like that. So it's a pretty good concept. He dropped his debut album in 1998, which I'll probably have to get to. It's a pretty good pitch of that one. But this is definitely like some quality fare. If you like smokage, obviously Devin the Dude is a heavy smoker. It's got some excellent fare here. This whole album's basically littered and just completely, this album's just completely beleaguered in like smoke songs and beer songs as well. It's not just the concept of this being smoke only, but there's some reefer and beer. Like there's a song on this album called R&B, which stands for reefer and beer. So it's a pretty good pitch. If you do like to get tipsy, swash, twisted, some of those type fairs, just get hella tore up. This is a great album for that, especially for like the early 2000s. Just the pitch of how this particular kind of goes. This is a classic album here. I'm just gonna go ahead and say I was not expecting it. I've known about this album for a while. Used to listen to songs here and there like Doobie Ashtray, some of those type ones. But I look after this, all of a sudden I look after this is a classic album. This the impact of this has a lot of good bops on here, a lot of overall appeal, a lot of great songwriting. This kind of the beleaguered and kind of after effect of this kind of here and there type sound where Devin the Dude is not at the forefront of kind of rap music and pitches like that, but he does have like some good songs on here that just kind of have like the aftertaste of just being able to say some of these type moments for just like the beleaguered kind of in between type fare. This is an in between type album. I would definitely say it's got some of that makeshift on here, but it does it within like an early 2000s kind of rap sound. Just kind of the concept of maybe things are a little bit blue collar makeshift pitches like that, but still the concept of just getting hella stoned, getting tore up, some of those type fares. Chica's in and out the house as far as that particular kind of goes. Is what I have to say. Definitely has some affability. The budget's on here. There's at least one Dr. Dre beat on here. Dr. Dre returns a favor for Devin the Dude helping out with this 2001 album. Exhibit, Nas are on here once. I like there's some good other ones on here. I can't think of. There's a DJ Premier beat on here. The Odd Squad, which was one of Devin the Dude's groups or pitches like that, was kind of on here. So there's some good concepts. It's a real excellent type thing. Now, the thing about this particular product is just the fact that it doesn't appear to have any charting singles. Wikipedia says it doesn't have any charting singles, but there's definitely a song on here that had like some relative kind of cult. There's definitely a song that had some relative word of mouth popularity, and that's the song Doobie Ashtray. It's just kind of the concept. It's just a very low key type project, but I'll go ahead and talk as if like Doobie Ashtray is kind of the single because that's one of his continued highlights, and that's just a definitive and defining kind of smoker's anthem for like the early 2000s pitches like that. Just a good concept. Basically, if you were listening to rap music throughout the 2000s and you really were smoking with some of your pals, this is an excellent kind of song to get here. It's just one. I think a lot of people, when they think of Devin the Dude, this may be about the only song they really know by him. Now, by this stage, obviously, 20 something years later, it's a differential type concept, but this is one of the defining type ones of just like what he did with smoking songs is that quickly. But yeah, I'll go ahead and say there's 15 songs in this album, not counting the intro song Zeldar, which is not really a song. It's just kind of like a 80s or some sort of sci-fi type intro that doesn't really have any lyrics or things like that. Really, typically kind of on it. I'm just gonna say that there's 15 songs. Out of those 15, I wound up recommending 13. So the concept about it is the only real two songs I don't recommend in any fashion would just be Just a Man and Tough Love. I'll talk about the reasons why for those, and well, I'll go ahead and talk about the reasons for not recommending those songs. Both of those are just kind of a little bit more homely type ones, just kind of more straightforward, just kind of typical kind of hop and bop, standard candor pitches like that. Sort of almost like pop rap songs, just within a relative kind of acoustic sense. It's kind of that makeshift drear as far as that particular kind of goes. But the thing about these particular songs is they're just a lot more clean as a whistle type tone. Doesn't really have like the smokers type vibes or just the overall. I mean, maybe they do, but the production fare of these just felt a little bit more kind of like Three Doors Down's Be Like That, just a lot more endearing, just kind of less kind of like sleaze about it and just kind of more upright as far as that pitch goes. It's not to say that there's a problem with those particular type upright type songs, but it just didn't really have the same vibe as far as like really having the affable productions. If they had a little bit better, something more like Just Trying to Live, something like that, the title track, I probably would have enjoyed those more. But Yeah, this album's gonna get a 10 out of 10. It's a classic, kind of a low key type classic and unexpected type one. I feel like Devin the Dude doesn't really get enough attention, especially just within the concept of nowadays type times. I feel like he will get the occasional hit, and he's had the budget. He's definitely had some good smoking songs, plenty of smokers lore. Magazines like High Times Magazine, some of those type of things continue to know about him. He probably has his own weed strain, something like that. He's an advocate for weed, I'd have to say, but it's just kind of the concept that I think the affability behind this particular fare, this product is just not really, it's kind of underspoken, I'd have to say. But I'll go ahead and talk about the pseudo first single, or at least the biggest song off this album, which would be Doobie Ashtray. So this is like a classic 2000s kind of smokage anthem, I'd have to say. This is one of Devin's continued largest songs, I'd have to say in particular. This is like a woozy head trip type song, and this is good for some hella eat. So I just would say if you're getting like those little Debbie's snack cakes, something of that type fare, sandwiches, pitches like that, just some cheeseburgers, pizza, some of that type fare, uh, Blimpies, Subway, some of that type of stuff. This is good stuff to kind of have like some good snackage. Just smoke hella good with your homies, pitches like that. Really excellent DJ Premier beat. Was not expecting him to produce a song like this. This is the sort of production I think DJ Premier needs to do way more. It just makes me question how many more songs that they did if DJ Premier ever produced another song for Devin the Dude, because it's a definite nice one. If you don't know Devin the Dude, this is a great starting point. This is a great kind of concept to kind of get this particular one. And I think a lot of people would probably there's plenty of folks out there that probably sparked up quite a bit to this song. It's definitely kind of the thing. Lackville 79 is the second biggest song off this particular album. Now, this may not be a single, but it's definitely a pretty nice one. I just would have to say. It's like a modest kind of sunny day out and about type song, I'd have to say in particular. It's like a groovy kind of mellow vibe this song particularly kind of has. This like a basic bop, and it's like some summer vehicle kind of day commerce I would feel about this one. Just standard day errands. It's kind of the concept. I do like some of these car-centric type songs. So just the concept of basic cruising, just having a good whip, pitches like that, just appreciating the sunlight, getting out and about, paying some of those bills. This one's a little bit more peppy. I feel like compared to some of the songs, there are some other type songs on here like Just Trying to Live, the title track, Would Ya, some of those type ones. This would have to say some of that standard fare, just day outing type activity. I High is a little bit like that, just in a more stone type sense, I would have to suppose, but there are some decent cruise type ones. Kind of like a blend between like Slim Thug and Paul Wall's kind of vehicle cruising, a little bit of Bun B in there. I think Devin the Dude is from Houston, so it's a pretty good pitch for that with like the relative kind of just out and about type fare of like, well, yeah, I would just say a blend of some of those type rappers, just with like a more stone type sense and just some standard kind of day pep as far as that particular goes. It's almost like a makeshift type song, blue collar type song. It's a little bit with Devin the Dude format, just kind of the concept of like an alternative rap blue collar. I'd have to say just a good concept, get some of that nice pep, real nice, get some stuff done kind of song. It's a Shame is a pretty nice one. This is a Dr. Dre beat. This is a pretty good Dr. Dre beat, I'd have to say, but it's out of Devin's element, I would have to suppose. It's kind of a decent concept. This really makes him feel like he's from the West Coast, something like that. It's like a West Coast kind of sunny evening cruising of a song. I'd have to say it's another good cruising song to kind of get here, and it's like a good primer for the night, I'd have to say. So this is one, especially if you're on like the West Coast, Nevada, like Nevada, California, Utah, some of those type places, just Arizona, some of those places out west. Good concept just to have some of that relative. Just great for like 6 o'clock p.m. when like the sun is orange, pitches like that. It's a good concept. Just pick up some things, get some supplies going, some of that type fare. Just figure out what you're gonna do for the night. Just kind of the last leftover moments, like makeshift, I'd have to say, with like some good appeal, just getting ready to get turned up for the night. I mean, the thing about Devin the Dude, he's a lot more of like a kind of chill type artist. He's not quite as fiery as when you think of folks like Mystical or Old Dirty Bastard, some of those type folks. A lot more chill type vibes, cooler type personality that has, I suppose, more smoke is just chill type vibes. But I look after, there are some club songs on here. I feel like songs like For Show and Who's That Man Mama, some of those type ones, and some of them have some of that relative appeal about it. But it, with Devin's kind of demeanor, it's just a little bit different to kind of suppose some of these, but I do like the concept of at least getting them. But it's just kind of, you will find club songs on here, but a lot of this is just more smokish, kind of local residential hangout type fare. It's just more about standard in between personal life kind of living more so than like the social glitz of it. But there are some moments on here that do it. I High is a pretty nice one. Like, we're gonna get to some of these smoking type songs. This is definitely a blitzy type one. It's probably one of the best songs off this album for smoking. This competes, in my opinion, with Doobie Asha. Is a good one to kind of have if you're just gonna handpick through a few of these songs. It's like another very quality stock smoking tune. Like I was saying, it's like a really feeling trippy and burnt type song to kind of get in particular. It says like a very dazing chorus, good song to kind of list, good song to kind of daze out when the chorus plays, pitches like that, and it's just some great hangout Really appreciate the concept of this particular one. Definitely needs to be more beats like this particular one. Just a real breezy type one. It's an excellent effectual type one to get. For show is a pretty nice one. This has the Odd Squad on there. Definitely like this is a particular standout. I'd have to say I used to like this song back in the day. I was originally going to review this album approximately in like early 2016. I want to say I reviewed like a Devin the Dude album in early 2016. Don't remember which one it was, but I was kind of debating about doing this particular one, but I just couldn't listen to enough songs. I probably would have given this album back in 2016 when I first started this channel, probably like maybe like a 5 or a 4 or 6 out of 10. Because I like probably about 4 or 5, 6 songs off this particular album, but now it definitely gets a 10. So it's just a good concept. But this is one of those songs I did enjoy. This is like a good electro club hop of a song. I'd have to say in particular. It's like Devin stepping out a tad. I would definitely feel like a little bit of social type fare, breezy kind of homies type tune, or electric, this jazzy, glitzy kind of homies tune. I'd have to say it's very here and there type vibe, just because most of this album doesn't have that format. But this is definitely some Liddy night thrills I'd have to suppose. So this is a nice one. It's good out on the town Friday night type music, real glitzy type one. Definitely needed more songs like this. It's a good concept kind of see Devin the Dude in this format, just because a lot of this has a lot of good glamorous type appeal. There's some good real gnarl type tunes kind of get. R&B, also known as Reefer and Beer, is a real nice one. This is another real stock type one, just like I High, Doobie, Ashtray, some of these type ones. Excellent type for there's plenty of these songs on here. This like a woozy kind of get twisted gem. I would definitely feel like smokage, sippage, some stuff like that. Real in between hangout type days, and I would definitely have to suppose. Pretty similar to Doobie Ashtray, like I was saying. This is another good homies type song to get. So definitely some good ones for the pals, pitches like that. It's some good concepts. Get some hella buy like a whole bunch of snacks, spend like $50, $60 on food, pitches like that. Really get the snack and PlayStation type music, some standard kickback, football, basketball, some of those type things is standard fare. Just getting ready to get glitz, just getting ready to get blitz and head out for the night. Some pitches like that. Some good primer for that sort of stuff. This basic evening type tune, basic standard day commerce type tune. It's great social kind of affability. Change the pace would be just trying to live. The title track. This is a nice one. It's like a dreary kind of makeshift day malaise of a song. I'd have to say it's like some easygoing kind of car commerce. I would feel like, and it's like a mellow out kind of smoke one type song to kind of get here and just bills get paid, some pitches like that. Just good concept, that sort of thing. Do need some of these type songs as standard fare. I feel like probably Lackville 79, just trying to live, some of those type ones. I think there's at least one other one on here that kind of has that relative type fare, but at least a couple of these kind of have like some standard day commerce. Maybe Woodja is another one that kind of has that particular type feel, but just the concept of just like, just typical day vehicle centric, just kind of maybe not completely tore up high as hell, but just the concept of just an easy kind of simple type one, just for basic stuff, just get the task done, then get towards it. But this is probably more like Monday, Tuesday. I feel like just trying to live in Lackville 79 or more Monday, Tuesday type music, more so than Thursday, Friday, I'd have to say. Woodge is a pretty nice one. It's like a breezy kind of drifting lady song, I'd have to say in particular. It's like a good freak tune. I would definitely feel like for some vanilla commerce, definitely within that concept, just kind of typical day type Travers as far as that particular kind of goes. Just a mellow type song and kind of getting kind of stoned on top of that. It's a good concept. This one's a little bit more of like a tore up type one compared to just trying to live, the title track, and Lackville 79, but it does have that relative breeze. It's a good concept. It's standard ladies type fare. It's got your hands full, pitches like that. Good times kind of have. Who's That Man Mom is a pretty nice one. This is another night type one to kind of, this is more night. This is more social littiness, I'd have to say in particular. It's like a bumping kind of night creeping of a song, I'd have to say. It's like a hazy kind of fraternized type song. I would feel like some late turn up, definitely I would have to say. Hella high kind of basic 2000s kind of demon time type song to kind of get. So it's just an excellent type concept here. Really appreciate the fare behind some of this. Just kind of, originally I was thinking I wasn't going to like this song. This definitely has some glitz about it. The chorus kind of depicts it from like a kid's point of view as far as talking about the concept of being at like a concert and seeing Devin when not knowing about like getting tore up, smoking, drinking, some of those type pitches as far as that particular kind of goes. But I do like the concept of this particular type fare, just real litty type one. Another homies type one to kind of get just within that. It's really kind of a sleaze type song. I just like the concept of that particular aspect, just kind of this hole in the wall type music, just the pitch just behind this kind of wooziness and this overall the feel of it. A little bit more beleaguered than for show, I would have to say, but it is some pretty standard sleaze of nightlife, I'd have to say. Go Somewhere is a pretty nice one. This is a pretty standard one. This feels like it could be on this song feels like it could be in like a Harold and Kumar, Cheech and Chong type movie, something that in particular I'd say it's like a trippy, very tore up kind of out on the town and like some day commerce type song, I'd have to say. It's like a blitz simple task kind of song. I would definitely feel like it's like a summer hangout kind of hit. So this one just has the appeal. This one just completely feels like you're high as hell as far as that particular kind of goes. Eyes red, pitches like that. Just ate like hell of food, some of that type here. Just a real good kickback of the song. Just kind of get some summer blaze as far as that particular kind of goes. Real nice one. Some socialized kind of day outing, just being stoned as hell, but going out and about and having some decent times, fraternizing a bit, just getting some daps, some of that type fare. There in day commerce. If you do like the Dr. Dre feel of It's a Shame, there is like a nightclub type song that has some Dr. Dre type appeal of it, and that would be some of them, which also has Exhibit and Nas on there, pretty good pitch. It's like a stellar Dr. Dre kind of reminiscent beat. It's not actually by Dr. Dre. It's by some cat named T Mix, but it really felt like he studied Dr. Dre because this does kind of feel pretty similar to like the Aftermath sound I'd had to say in particular. Just really Dr. Dre asking pitches like that. This has some nice cameos once again from Exhibit and Nas. Good concepts for that, and it's like a paranoia kind of club hopper. I would definitely have to say, and it's a pretty Glazed song. This is the concept of this one. Smoking a bit, just being out and about, just kind of trippiness, the sort of stuff that Tupac would kind of do, just the concept of thinking that there's problems, pitches like that, even though he did have problems. It's kind of the pitch of just the concept of being out and about, but just kind of being a little bit dicey and frenetic about it. Just a good concept, kind of get that on here. Did like some of this particular type of song. So if you do like the Dr. Dre, Devin the Dude, if you do like the Dr. Dre, Devin the Dude type songs, these are at least two to kind of get within that context that I'd say. So it's a good concept for that. WXYZ is a pretty nice song. It's kind of an offhanded type one, but I do like the appeal of this one. It's like a comedic but serious in like its tone, kind of foul day drama. I'd say definitely a bad day type song. It's a good concept to kind of get this, just a different kind of pitch. It's like a night shift kind of girl problems kind of song. I'd have to say definite song to get some definite song to get your ducks in a row. I'd have to say in particular good concept for that. And it's like some slumish kind of sleaze feel that this song particularly kind of has. It's kind of a bickering back and forth type song. Just a concept like some of that standard fare. The production on this one is pretty standout. I'd have to say just really feels like something almost kind of feels like animated, something like that, kind of cartoony just within the demeanor of it, but it is a good concept. Just feels like something ripped out of like the 60s or something like that. Do you like the appeal behind it? It's just a real nice one kind of get here. Just really the after effects of just kind of some foul day kind of girl problems type song, just to kind of get this once again, get your ducks in a row, some of that type pitch to kind of get straight and situated as far as that particular one goes. But it is an Apple type one. Most of the sounds a little bit more laid back and just kind of, I mean, some of it's paranoid, most of it's just kind of woozy, laid back, stoned as hell, pitches like that, get some bills paid. But it's just kind of the concept of having some good songwriting and kind of have some switch ups. And then the kind of pseudo skit type song, whatever, is like the 13th song on here. So it's like a slog kind of evening wake up of a song that I'd say in particular. It's like a good living kind of wake and bake type. It's like a good living kind of wake and bake type song night wise. I'd say if you just woke up at like 7:30, 8:30 at night, it's a great pitch to kind of get some of this. Just kind of have the initial concept of smoking a good sweet, something like that. Just the night fare of that. There's like some definite quick times, kind of breakfast excitement, I'd have to say, before getting turned up for the night with listening to more songs like The Show or Who's That Man Mama, some of those type pitches. Definitely a good concept. This, whatever goes pretty well with Doobie Ashtray, and some of those type ones, and Reefer and Beer. It's not as much of like a full blown smoke song. It's got more ladies in mind on this particular one, but it is a pretty quick time of a song to have for some of that alarm clock kind of wake up, just in the tone of just being able to get turned up a bit and get started with your night. Just some good times, good overall feel. So the concept about this particular album, yeah, this album gets a 10 out of 10. Like I was saying, good, excellent concepts on here. The social score, that's kind of tricky. I think I'm going to give the social score like a 9.5 out of 10. I feel like it would get a 10 out of 10, but it doesn't really have any singles. I feel like the cult type appeal and the overall word of mouth type appeal of Doobie Ashtray is pretty nice, and Lackville 79 is like a good runner up within those relative pitches. But I don't know if there were music videos made for this particular product. It does also have some Dr. Dre affiliation exhibits on here. There's a couple Dr. Dre type bops on here, some good nightlife, some definite good smoke edge, just house party live pitches like that with a little bit of nightlife thrown in. A little bit of makeshift thrown in as far as that particular kind of goes. But I just look after the concept. It's just the fact that it didn't really have any singles or promotion. It does at least have the songs to be able to do it, but I just feel like Devin the Dude just kind of has a more low-key kind of demeanor and just overall aspect about him that just, it feels like this could have been his breakout album, but it just didn't really succeed in doing it. I feel like as much as I like these songs, I kind of feel like the casual kind of commercial type of feel is kind of limited. I feel like there's some ones on here. If you're definitely coming from a smoker's point of view, there's more than a few. For smokers, this definitely has a lot of highlight and just overall casual appeal about a lot of these. But in terms of like a smash, that would kind of be like 50 Cents in the Club, or like Eminem's kind of Superman, some of those type ones just within that relative pitch, or like other folks, Jay-Z's H to the Izzo, something like that. Some of those type ones, I kind of feel like this particularly just doesn't have like a mammoth hit apart from Doobie Ashtray and possibly Lackville 79, but it is some good stuff, definitely classic. So it gets the 9.5 social. In terms of the future, like Devin the Dude has been putting out projects. I'm definitely gonna have to review some more of these. There were some ones I definitely wanted to get to, so we'll get to some more of these as far as pitches like that kind of happen. But this is a low key kind of classic Southern hip hop type album for 2002. This is extremely excellent because there weren't a ton of classic Southern albums out of 2002. I'd have to say maybe Lil Jon, Ludacris, some of those type folks. But apart from that, it's just relatively. This was kind of like a trailblazing type project that helped carve out some lanes here as far as pitches like that kind of happen, especially for like stoner rap and southern rap as far as that particular kind of goes. So some excellent concepts here. Do definitely recommend this. It's a low key kind of left field classic here just to be able to appreciate, and it's definitely overlooked, I'd have to say.